Welcome back to the JCPod, partner with Stare Down Sports. Stare Down greatness. We have emerged from the week that was NFL Week 14. Shout out to Fernando Mendoza, who got announced as the Heisman winner. Shout out to all the other award winners from college as well. We might bring that list up at the end of the show, but man, NFL Week 14. We had some craziness happen. Some teams have been officially eliminated from the playoffs. We have teams hanging on for dear life to get in the playoffs. We have teams who, I think only one team clinched the playoffs. Might be wrong about that. We'll have to double check on that. But NFL Week 14 truly was a fun one. We'll recap that, go over some of the news, check how the awards markets have changed a little bit, talk about playoffs that are upcoming, and then we'll finish off the show with all the bowl games upcoming, talk some of the college football playoffs as we get ready for tomorrow's show, which will be the usual Pickem and official bets and my leans for those playoff games. So like I said, let's hop into Week 14. I think we're going to change the breakdown up a little bit this week because like I said, we're officially heading into the playoffs. So I'm not going to deep dive every single game. We'll just break down some key moments from the weekend as well as just talking potentially like the couple games that did matter, maybe diving into those just a wee bit more. Thursday, the Falcons stole the game from the Bucs. They win 29-28. Kyle Pitts has the best game of his career in a game that potentially won him some millions of dollars because his contract's up at the end of the season, and boy, oh boy, that he went off. That was insane to watch, but Bucs, they came out strong to start for a little bit, and then they just fell really, really flat. A lot of questions going on with them, but hey, Raheem Morris probably saved his job. But yeah, now Todd Bowles is a little bit on the hot seat. The Bucs, they fell to 7-7. Falcons, they go to 5-9. Their season's over. They're eliminated from the playoffs, but that was a win that, hey, maybe Kirk Cousins saved his job as well. Like I said, Kyle Pitts for sure won himself some money. He went absolutely off. Let me just read out his final stat line real quick to give him some airtime. He finished 11 for 166, 3 of them things. Shout out to Mike Evans, though. 6 for 132 on his return back. He looked pretty explosive as well. But yeah, that was a very tough loss for the Bucs, who at basically the end of the game just like let the Falcons walk down the field. And it's kind of one of those, oh, you guys really aren't getting a stop here, huh? But like I said, Kirk Cousins might have saved the job. We will just have to see. But that gave the Panthers a chance to get first place in the division. But they said, you can keep it for a little bit longer, Bucs. We'll earn it by beating you. Because the Panthers are also 7-7 now. They lose to the 4-10 Saints. Pretty bad loss for them. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Bucs had really bad losses losing to the Saints and the Falcons back-to-back. But for the Panthers, this was really tough on them, too. This was a chance for them to steal this game. And this is a division game. They win it. They're first place in the division with 2 games against the Bucs. They took the lead early with Rico Dowdle. Devin Neal answered right back. They kicked a field goal, then scored a touchdown. But the Saints, they just kept hanging on and hanging on. Bryce Young had an amazing throw on the sideline. I wish I could remember when it was in the game. But I believe it's a touchdown to Coker with 9:54 left. I believe that was the one I'm thinking of. It was just an absolute dime on the sideline. And he threw it before the guy was even open. Guy runs right to the spot where the ball is. Just, I'm not going to lie, right? We talked about it, how it's still kind of looking like the case because Bryce Young still has some moments that are kind of shaky. But we said next year might be the year for the Panthers. I mean, they're really showing something this year. So if they don't make the playoffs this year, that's a team where, especially if they can keep Rico Dowdle going into next year and they can have that 2-back combo, that team could be really good next year if they can figure out some of these holes they have. But I'm really impressed by Tyler Shough. He 272, 1 passing touchdown. Every week he just seems to have a little bit more poise, plays a little bit better. He truly has started to look like he might be their guy next year. And I won't lie, I jumped in on him. I think it was 200 odds of 200 to 1 to win Rookie of the Year, and now they've dropped from to 16 to 1, which I'm not gonna lie, kind of mad I didn't say anything about it on the show, but it was one of those sprinkles where it's just like, yeah, I really don't know about it. He's gonna need some stuff to go his way, and sure enough, the 2 games do go his way. It's like, damn, I should have said something about that now. Now I kind of feel bad, but that's gonna be a fun little one to ride because, like, that Rookie of the Year. I mean, we'll talk about Trevion Henderson in a minute. That Offensive Rookie of the Year is truly getting. That awards market's getting weird, man. It's one of the few ones that are getting weird just because, like, there's a lot of rookies who have some moments and flashes, and then 2-3 weeks are just kind of stinky. Like, Tedero McMillan's in that conversation for one of the Rookies of the Year. He only had 2 receptions for, like, 30 yards or 25 yards. It's weird. Very weird awards market. But, like I said, shout out to the Saints for getting that win. I mean, it kind of doesn't mean much for them for the season, but that's like a prideful win for them. And like I said, Tyler Shoug's kind of playing to keep his job next year because they aren't going to have a pick where it's like they are going to want to take a quarterback right away because they're probably going to be in like the 7 to 12 range. So that's probably where you want to take like a tackle or a lineman, something like that. I mean, they have so many holes. They have a lot of holes to fix. And also, they're still going to be, I think, in cap hell next year. So keeping a rookie quarterback would probably be, or rookie deal quarterback would probably not be a bad idea. And like I said, Chuck's kind of playing his way into that job. Commanders went 29-21. Generally don't have too much from this game. The Commanders just, they jumped on them early. They were up 13-0, and then there was 13-7, and then they had the punt return touchdown, then another field goal. By that point, that was going into halftime. They're up 22-7. It's like, yeah, that's probably over. Just not the best of games from the Giants. Jackson Dart also took another hit where it looked like he got dinged up a bit. So it's just starting to wonder with him a little bit now if he can keep himself healthy. But overall, I mean, Marcus Mariota was 10 for 19 for 211 passing yards. I mean, they just beat their ass. I mean, it was just straight up an ass beating by the Commanders on the Giants. And then Giants were able to score a little bit to make it look a little bit better. A little lipstick on a pig action there, but the Commanders dominate them early. Speaking of domination, Eagles went 31-0. They held the how many yards were it? Total yards, 75 total yards. The Raiders were held to. That is bad. Ashton Jency had 35 yards rushing. That's almost half their yards. I mean, as a guy who live bet the Eagles 31.5. Shout out to the Raiders for having a spine, and they did get a goal line stop, but to make it not 38-0. But damn, did they get their ass beat that game? Another team that got their ass beat, the Browns. They lose 31-3. I'm going to give the Bears some credit, man. They're 10-4 this year. They might not be the best of teams, and they might rely on turnovers a little bit too much, but they're a really, really good football team, and I think next year might be really scary if Caleb Williams starts to figure some of this stuff out. Seems like Ben Johnson was a great hire for them, too. They just completely shut down that Browns offense. They were just able to run the ball effectively as well with DeAndre Swift, who just... It's crazy how you're just watching him. It's like, he's not going to have that good of a year, will he? And he just continues to put up great numbers. He's one of those guys. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell is another guy I would consider that, where you just look at him, it's like, no way he's going to have a decent year. And you look at the end of the year, and it's just like, damn, he did it again. He did it again. But Caleb Williams, man, shout out to him. Really good game overall. He had one insane throw to DJ Moore that I still don't know how DJ Moore caught that. That was just I don't want to say picture perfect because you wouldn't want two defenders getting hands on it, but if that's how that play was going to go, that's a pretty good way for it to go. It goes right through two defenders' hands as Caleb's kind of fading out of bounds a bit. Touchdown DJ Moore, 31-3. Shout out to Myles Garrett. He closes. He's one sack away from breaking the single-season sack record, and for them, they have the Bills, Steelers, Bengals. So there's a really good chance if Myles Garrett can stay healthy, he might break that record. 49ers, they win 37-24 against the Titans. Titans score 14 points in the fourth quarter. So you want to talk about lipstick on a pig, a little bit of lipstick on a pig there, but offensively, I just don't know what to make of the Titans. 49ers seems like they're going to be okay. I mean, they still a little bit shaky on defense, but they seem to get it together when it matters and keep it together long enough to get away in the game and then make it to where, like this situation against the Titans, where they score 14 points late to make it look a little bit closer than it truly was. But I don't know how to evaluate that Titans team, man. They're going to be behind for a bit, it seems like. But hey, shout out to the 49ers. Massive win. Still had to beat that team. I mean, the Titans have won 2 games this year, but I just, like I said, offensively, I just don't know what to make of their skill guys. They need some upgrades at skill positions, especially wide receiver. They need a lot. Let's be honest. They need a lot. They need coaching. I mean, it's going to be rough for a little bit for them, but yeah. Rams, they win 41-34 against the Lions. This game, the Lions scored 10 in the fourth quarter. I wouldn't say it's as much of a lipstick on a pig, but a little bit. One of the touchdowns was 2 minutes ago, but Rams just dominated the game. Jahmyr Gibbs had one of his hot cold games where he did not play the best, but it seems like when he isn't really going, the Lions aren't really going. Lions are looking like they need help now to make the playoffs, which is just crazy to think about that they're one of the many teams that needs help to get into the playoffs. They can still, I think, if they win all their games, they might be okay. I think it's like win all their games, which they play Steelers, Vikings, Bears, and then it's like win all their games and have just like one team lose a game or two, which I think is very doable, but I don't know, man. Week 18 seems like it's really going to matter. The Rams just look really good. I think the biggest news coming out of this game was Devontae Adams pulled his hammy. I think he's already been basically listed as out for the game against the Seahawks this week, where the Rams are fighting for the number 1 seed. Yeah, I don't think that Devontae Adams is going to play in this week. It's going to be too close to turn around with a hamstring, and they're going to want him for the playoffs. But yeah, I mean the Rams are just. I think 2 rushing touchdowns for Kyron Williams. Blake Corum got 1. They got a 2-headed monster running back now. I mean, this Rams team is going to be really, really hard to stop, especially if they can keep this hot streak going. Like I said, they're battling the Seahawks next week. That could be potentially for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Man, Thursday Night Football. That's going to be a good one. Vikings on Sunday night, they pull it out over the Cowboys. They win 34-26 in what was JJ McCarthy's best game of the pro so far. He looked, I mean, won't lie. A lot of people looking good passing against that Cowboys defense. But, I mean, for a guy who's been really struggling so far to kind of find himself this year, this was an awesome game for J.J. McCarthy. And like I said, I won't lie to you, I think I end up missing, I think basically after that 4:54 mark in the third quarter is basically where I missed the rest of the game. It was one of those things I just couldn't stay awake. It was a long weekend, a lot of late nights just watching games, doing some other stuff, so by the time, it just got to that game, I had to early wake up the next day. It was just one of those sitting there, and you don't even think about it, and then it's just open the eyes, it's like, quarter and a half passed. Oopsies. Well, yeah, like I said, so I kind of missed the end of this game, but from what I did see, J.J. McCarthy, man, like I said, he just is. It's going to be interesting now. Obviously, they're done for the season. The Vikings are, but hey, maybe they do have something going in the next year. And then as for the Cowboys, they officially got eliminated from playoffs. You got to wonder. I mean, obviously, everyone's playing for their jobs at this point in the season and everything, but you got to wonder how they're going to retool this team going into the next season. I mean, defensively, it looks like they have some stuff starting to get figured out, but they still have a lot of holes to fix. And then offensively, are they going to keep George Pickens? Do they franchise tag Pickens or Brandon Aubrey? I would assume they're going to focus on Brandon Aubrey a lot because he is one of the best weapons in football. Let's see, is there any other games? Ravens, they won 24-0 against the Bengals, eliminate any hopes of them making the playoffs, but let's be real, at 4-9. I don't think a lot of us thought they were making it. But yeah, I mean, Ravens improved to 7-7. They're now 1 game behind the Steelers, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But, I mean, the Bengals have shot themselves in the foot any chance they got when they were going to score. Joe Burrow's one of his, I don't want to say worst games of his career, but his career's probably being a bit dramatic. But by far, I think his worst game of the season, he just looked bad. I don't even want to say horrible. It is bad. I mean, he did have 225 passing, but he had 2 interceptions. They were close to scoring twice. It got turned over. One of them ended up being a pick 6, I believe. It's just... This game got ugly and away from the Bengals quick, and like I said, this kind of eliminated their playoff hopes. So, it's going to be interesting what they're going to do moving into the next season. Jamar Chase had a quiet 132. He was getting a lot of that stuff late, I will say. Which helped out, because I was sitting there looking at one point, I'm like, man, Jamar Chase, I think he averages like 118 against the Ravens. I'm like, man, he's not going to reach that at this point with how they're locking him down. And then when they lighten up the coverage a bit at the end of the game, he was able to get like the last little bit he needed to get over the edge. But, yeah, the Bengals have a lot of holes to fix going into next season. I wonder if they're going to fire Al Golden at this point. I mean, that defense is really, really bad. I mean, he had no help with guys over there to do anything with anyway, but you got to think they're probably wondering if, hey, like, they have so many changes, let's be honest. They have so much to do. That's just not going to fix it. They need an offensive line, too. I mean, they need a lot. I think that does that for most of the unimportant games. But I think most of the other games have at least one playoff team, if not both of them are playoff teams. Like Colts, Seahawks. Colts, it looked like they might be able to pull it out. They were up 13-6 going in the half. And then, obviously, in the second half, I mean, the biggest thing to take away from this game is the Seahawks offense just got absolutely shut down. The Colts played really inspired under Phillip Rivers. His arm definitely wasn't the strongest, but he knew where the ball needed to be every time. He checked the Colts into the right play offensively. They basically kept the Seahawks backed up all game long, and this was just a bad game for Sam Darnold again. I mean, he finished with 271 passing, but there was just a lot of times where they were just, I mean, to be fair, they were also just buried in the back of their own end, so there's only so much they could do. But with no rushing game, I mean, this team is relying heavy on the pass. So it's one of those things where, like, yet again, they were able to pick it up a bit in the second half, but that first half, they were just absolutely shut down again. And if the Colts were able to burn just a little bit more clock to end before they kicked that 60-yard field goal by Groupie, I mean, there's a real shot the Colts win that game. Like, the Colts were in that game with a chance to win it right up till the end. Phillip Rivers only had 120 passing yards, but I mean, Jonathan Taylor was able to get it going decently on the ground. Colts were frisky in that game. I went in that game knowing that the Colts would probably cover because, let's be honest, 14 was disrespectful. Game kind of went how I thought it would. I had no idea what to expect from Phillip Rivers' arms. He threw it a little bit better in some spots than I thought he would, but that's kind of what I semi-expected. Like, all right, they're going to run the rock a lot, probably quick passes, a bunch of that stuff. But defensively, man, the Colts showed out. Like I said, my biggest question coming into this game is like, all right, so Colts are probably not going to make the playoffs. They got a lot of work to do. Phillip Rivers is probably going to finish out the season with them at this point. At least until they're eliminated. Then maybe if they're eliminated, they'll let Riley Leonard finish it out to get some reps. But Colts are going to they have QB questions going into the next year, so we'll focus on that a little bit later. But as for the Seahawks fan, why do they keep starting slow? That is the big thing that I think I'm going to try to figure out. We'll just see. I'm just going to watch them a little bit more. Just see, especially Thursday night, if they come out to slow start, see if we'd start noticing a trend. Like, is it because they're trying to do this play action too many times to start the half and it goes back. Like, I want to see if it's a trend or something, or if just it's later in the season and Sam Darnold doesn't play the best later in the season. I'm not saying that, I don't know what it is regardless, but won't lie to you, it's starting to creep in the back of my head a little bit. It is that time of year where Sam Darnold doesn't play his best. I would love for him to prove me wrong, because that would mean the Seahawks have a good enough team to do it and maybe go somewhere, but it's going to rely a lot on Sam Darnold, and history, not the best. We'll just have to see, though. Maybe this year that Sam Darnold beats those postseason and big game allegations, but I don't know. Packers, Broncos. Shout out to the Broncos. They were able to rally back from down 10 and win. So they were able to. They become the first AFC team to make the playoffs. I don't know if they have the division locked up, but I think with that 12th win, I mean, they're at minimum going to be in the wild card. So shout out to the Broncos for that. The Packers were up 10 at one point in this game, and it looked like they were going to win it. And then Micah Parsons, there was a big interception by Patrick Surtain. And then during the interception, Christian Watson kind of got hurt, and he didn't play the rest of the game. And then the big one was Micah Parsons, torn ACL, done for the season. That's tough for the Packers. The Packers can definitely still go on, but it's one of those things now. It's like, I don't know if they win the Super Bowl without Micah. I mean, Micah was so great for them. I think he has 8 sacks in the fourth quarter. I mean, he is just a closer. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, maybe you don't notice him. Like, he'll have his moments, splashes during the game sometimes. Maybe you won't notice him a bit, but when the game's on the line, you need a pass rusher. It's one of those things where he is the closer for this team, and losing your closer is not good. Especially because, like I said, they lost him, and then they ended up losing the game outright. So now that game against the Bears next week is going to be huge for the Packers, even more so. But I don't want to take too much away from the Broncos. This is probably Bo Nix's best game as a pro. He was really good. I mean, that's just the best way to put it. He played really good that game. And Jordan Love played all right. He did have 2 interceptions. Like I said, one of them was just really bad. The other one's kind of like, okay. You were trying to throw it up to your guy at least. Surtain made a great play, but yeah, those injuries are going to be a big thing to keep an eye on. Josh Jacobs had a nasty Moss touchdown catch that he just went right over a guy. Just absolute man catch by Josh Jacobs. But like I said, the Packers are up 10. Looks like they're potentially going to win the game, and then those injuries just kind of killed all their momentum. Broncos rallied back. They are the number 1 seed currently, especially after, I think we are talking about this game next. We didn't talk about, we'll talk about Bills, Bills, Patriots. Patriots, they're up 21-0. People are getting loud in the streets on the internet, and you usually know how that goes. Bills end up winning 35-31. They were able to pull out a 21-point rally. I mean, Josh Allen's MVP odds, I think he was 20-1 at one point, 14-1 last week. And now I think he went to 6-1. They cut it in half. He played really, really well. James Cook had an awesome day on the ground. TreVeyon Henderson, though, I think he had, maybe it was just one, but he had two. I think it was two. 65 yards and let's see, where's the 52 yards and 65 yards worth of touchdowns that TreVeyon Henderson had. It's one of those things where he seems like he's just going to have a big play every game if you give him enough carries. If you give him anywhere from like 15 to 17 carries, it seems like he's probably going to break one. That second one, Drake May ran with him. As a guy who's had TreVeyon Henderson in fantasy, we've been waiting for this, and I'm sure many of you others who play fantasy that had him felt this way. It feels so good to watch him just get work now, and then like watch this happen. It's just, we weren't wrong for drafting him, but he is just such a talent. It's gonna be interesting to see how they use him moving forward. Not the best of games for Drake May. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, but he could have stepped up a little bit more in the passing game when they needed him. But I'm not going to take away too much from this game. The Bills felt like they needed it just a little bit more, especially when they went down 21-0. I don't know if you could see it on the field fully, but it almost felt like the Patriots started to be like, okay, so we kind of got this now. This is going to be our division. And the Bills were like, oh, this is our last chance. We really need to win this game, and we need to hang on. And they were just able to do that. And they win. They win the game. James Cook, like I said, had 107 on the ground. TreVeyon had 14 for 148. 65 and 52-yard rushing touchdowns, man. Whew. James Cook had a decent one as well. The game I did forget to talk about, Texans win 40-20 against the Arizona Cardinals. They just beat their ass. It was one of those games that 17-0 right away in the first quarter. It's like, all right, that is over. And one of the cooler plays is there's a fumble that went right between C.J. Stroud's hands and legs, goes right into Woody Marks. He dives over the pile, or dives forward. He's able to get a touchdown. Counts as a fumble touchdown, which kind of weird. Kind of weird. Let's be honest. It was a rushing touchdown. It was going to be a handoff regardless. But shout out to Woody Marks. That was an awesome play. And like I said, they just beat the Texans defense was smothered the Cardinals for most of the day. They were able to get a touchdown here and there. But this game was over like that. Jets-Jags, another game I forgot to talk about. Speaking of blowouts, a lot of the 1 o'clock games, blowouts. Trevor Lawrence. 6 touchdowns today. 6 touchdowns on that day. 5 of them passing. This was another game that was just over by half. We're talking 29-10 at half. It's like, yeah, okay, this is over. The Jags just looked dominant on defense. They get out to these big leads quick, and then they just let their defense hunt. Their defense is able to lock down. Travis Etienne, another great day for him on the ground. And by another great day on him on the ground, I meant touchdown. Wait, was it receiving actually? I think he did better in the receiving game. He had 3 for 73 and 3 touchdowns receiving. I was thinking it was rushing for a minute, and then I saw he was 12 for 32. I'm like, he had a big game. What do you mean? But it was in the receiving game. He had 3 for 73. Jags just look good, man. They are beating teams' ass. They have a big game against the Colts upcoming here soon. So do the Texans. That's going to be a big battle for the AFC South. I think the Jags and Texans play each other soon, too. No, they don't, actually. So the Texans and Jags split. So yeah, that game against the Colts is going to be massive in Indianapolis. They got Denver, Indianapolis in Week 18 against Tennessee. That game, Week 18, doesn't matter too much. Might, depending on what happens these next 2 games, but for sure. So we'll wait. That might matter a lot, depending. But the Broncos, it's going to be a big test for the Jags. And then they go to Lucas Oil. Going to be a big test there if they're able to win those 2 games. Looking like they might win the AFC South. Chiefs-Chargers. Chiefs ended up losing 13-16. Big news is Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL. I believe he had damage to his LCL a bit as well. That's a really, really sad way for the dynasty end. Patrick Mahomes threw a pick down the sideline, trying to throw it to Kareem Hunt when they had a chance to be in field goal range, and that kind of felt like okay, that's it. And when Gardner Minshew came in, that was just all she wrote. Josh, this is another game where, like last week, I'll admit, kind of shocked the Chargers won, saw it a little bit more. I did not. I thought the Chargers were going to cover, but they really showed me something by winning this game. Especially with all the injuries, man. This felt like a game where the Chiefs really, really needed it, and the Chargers were just able to outlast them, able to do exactly what they needed to. Both quarterbacks are kind of running around. Both are banged up. Tough game for the Chiefs, but shout out to the Chargers. That was a massive win for the Chargers who, like I said, the Chiefs are not in the playoffs. I think there was a stat, it's first time since 1998, Patrick Mahomes. I do love when they throw stats in like that, though, where they can just throw in another guy and then be like, because now think about it. If they throw in, say, Josh Allen and Mahomes both don't make it next year, and they can be like, see, all these quarterbacks haven't made it since 1998. Stats like that are just hilarious, but Like I said, shout out to the Chargers. That was a massive win for them. They needed that win too because they have a very tough schedule upcoming. They have Cowboys, Texans, Broncos. Maybe that Broncos game at the end of the year might not matter too much for them. They can get lucky, but we'll just have to see. And the Monday Night Steelers, BTA, belt to ass. They went 28-15. Miami Dolphins score, 12 of their 15 points in the fourth quarter with 9 and 2 minutes remaining. Steelers were up 28-3. They were just, I won't even lie to you. I went to bed at, what was it? After that catch was made by Valdez-Scantling, that's when I was kind of like, all right, I've seen enough of this Dolphins team. I know how this game's going to go. I'm going to go to bed. So I still need to finish watching the end of this game, especially because, won't lie to you, I'm probably going to have to start with Darren Waller next week because I have Tyler Warren. I'm in my fantasy playoffs, and in my buddies' league, my league I have Tyler Warren and Travis Kelce. So that's going to be an interesting choice there. And then the other league, I had Tyler Warren. Picked up Darren Waller, who had a massive game against the Steelers very late, but I'm going to have a real decision there. I just thought about that. That is not going to be a fun decision later. Anyway, though, back to the Dolphins and Steelers. Aaron Rodgers looked really good in this game as well. Another great game and performance out of him. I think it's officially to the point now where the Steelers, these next 2 games for them don't really matter. I'm assuming they're going to try to win them, though, regardless. And then, hey, they beat the Ravens. They're in the playoffs. Ravens eliminated. I think the Ravens kind of have to win out anyway, so there's a really good chance the Steelers have already locked up the division and the 4 seed in the playoffs, but they're still going to battle just a bit longer. So let's go see if there's any news. Jerry Jones underwhelmed by Eberflus Cowboys defense, so he's gone, most likely, assuming that's the case. So, Mahomes also had his LCL repaired, which, according to doctors, and some research that I've done, and by research I've done, I heard this on somebody else's show, so shout out to, can't remember who said it, I won't lie, so I really hate stealing this, but the fact he's getting LCL, this person compared it to Carson Wentz, and what his injury was, but sounds like Mahomes might not be ready for the start of the season next year now, so that's going to be really interesting to see how they address that quarterback situation, because they're probably going to need somebody in there. Alan Lazard getting released by the Jets. Devontae Adams is week to week with a hamstring injury. Like I said, I really don't think he's playing this week. Pete Carroll said, I don't feel like I'm coaching for my job. Probably because he already lost it, if I had to guess. There's no way if they bring him back, that's just... they could bring him back, but that's tough. Grenard for the Vikings is going to have season-ending shoulder surgery. Makes sense with their season kind of over. Jalen Jones is going to get shut down for the rest of the season. Apparently, these next 2 games were just too much of quick turnarounds for him, so they're just going to sit him and let him heal, getting ready for next year. Michael Parsons, we talked about, torn ACL. We got Steve Wilkes getting fired from the Jets after the loss to the Jaguars. I think that will probably fix a lot of the Jets' problems. Tough for them. Apparently, the 49ers haven't seen Ayuk in over a month, Shanahan said, so they're related. It sounds like that situation has just gotten rotten, so I think he's pretty much been released from the... I think that basically they've, without official, I think it's been almost like an official release. Let me look this up. There's something, I won't lie, I'm going to need to, give me like 10 seconds or something I saw that. Yeah, the best way to describe the situation is, the 49ers have put him on the reserve/left squad list. So they basically just said he hasn't been reporting. So it sounds like, this situation is just completely unrepairable. Just crazy, man. Absolutely crazy what the whole situation happened with Ayuk went. His last 2 years have just been absolutely insane of a roller coaster ride. I think we're good. I don't think there's anything else big that happened that I didn't really touch on. If there is, there's a chance I missed something, but yeah, I think we're good. Lane Johnson could return week 16, so that's some good news for them. I think that's good. Yep, I think that's decent. So now we're going to talk some, let's talk some playoff standings before we head into the awards market and betting stuff to finish it out. Shout out to Denver Broncos. They have officially clinched a playoff spot, so they're number 1 seed right now. Patriots 2 seed right behind them at 11-3. Jags are 10-4, 3 seed. Steelers are 8-6 at the 4 seed. And then wild card, you got Chargers 10-4, Bills 10-4. Texans 9-5, Titans, Raiders, Browns, Jets, Bengals, Dolphins, Chiefs, all eliminated. The Ravens are right on that thin cutting board, potentially being eliminated. Colts are sitting right there at 8-6, fighting a little bit. They have a chance. If they can beat their schedule's kind of tough though. And Philip Rivers, like I said, is probably gonna start for them. They got 49ers, Jags, Texans. So if they beat the Jags and Texans, I think there's a chance that they could win the division potentially. Now, will that happen? Probably not. But hey, you never know. Rams. I think we might know though. We'll see though. Rams. They're clinched playoffs as well. They're number 1 seed, 11-3 right now. Bears are 10-4, 2 seed. Eagles are 9-5, your 3 seed. Bucks are 7-7 at your 4 seed. Seahawks are 11-3 as your first wild card. 49ers 10-4 your second wild card. Packers are 9-4-1 as your third. They play the Bears, so it seems like those two might flop again if the Packers end up winning it. I think if the Packers win, they lock up the division. Lions are 8-6 looking in. Panthers are 7-7, kind of fighting for the Bucks for the division because whoever doesn't win the division, they're eliminated. And then Cowboys, Vikings, Falcons, Saints, Commanders, Cardinals, Giants. All those teams are eliminated from the playoffs. Man, let's talk some betting stuff real quick before we finish up with the bowl games that are upcoming. Now your Super Bowl favorite is the Rams. They're plus 350. Seahawks are plus 700. Bills are plus 850. Broncos plus 900. I'd probably take the Bills at this point, man. Especially looking at that AFC playoff picture. Who else would you trust in besides them? And even then, their defense is a bit shaky. MVP, you got Matt Stafford minus 260, Drake May plus 380, Josh Allen plus 600, and then Bo Nix is 100-1. So basically, it's Josh Allen, Drake May, Matt Stafford. Those are 3 we're going to be looking at. I got Josh Allen at 14-1 earlier, but if I had to guess, it's probably going to be Matt Stafford 1, Josh Allen 2, Drake May 3. Just for the fact that Drake May's young, I feel like they'll slide Josh Allen just past him a little bit. But I could be wrong about that. It just, as at this point, it feels like kind of Matt Stafford's award to lose unless he has a really bad week. JSN is minus 550 for Offensive Player of the Year. Jonathan Taylor's plus 900. Puka Nakua's plus 1,200. Jahmyr Gibbs plus 2,200. I mean, I guess it's probably going to be JSN at this point, right? But, I mean, Gibbs I don't think would be a bad... He's been too hot, too cold, I guess. So, yeah, maybe not him. Maybe Jonathan Taylor, if he's able to get hot and help the Colts go on a run, he can win that award back, but that one's going to be tough. Minus 250 for Comeback Player of the Year, minus 250 for Christian McCaffrey. Philip Rivers has dropped down to now plus 550. He was plus 1,300 to start the week. Dak Prescott's plus 700. Trevor Lawrence is plus 950. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be Christian McCaffrey at this point. He seems like the clear favorite. I mean, Dak Prescott wouldn't be a bad one. I mean, I guess Philip Rivers, if the Colts end up winning and making the playoffs, he feels almost automatic, right? Defensive Player of the Year, I mean, it seems like it's going to Myles Garrett. The next close guy is Nick Benito at plus 5,000. Will Anderson's plus 5,000. But Myles Garrett's probably going to break the sack record. Going to be hard not to give that guy Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's where it gets a bit interesting. Trayvon Henderson, plus 170. Emeka Egbuka, plus 250. Tedero McMillan, plus 280. Jackson Dart, plus 470. Tyler Shuck, plus 1,600. Tyler Warren's now dropped to 25-1. Then Harold Fann's 40-1, and it drops off a cliff. But, I mean, Tyler Warren literally to start the week was like 14 or 12-1, and then he has just been slowly dropping. So that means money's coming in on Henderson, Ibuka, McMillan, Dart, or Shuck, which I believe those are going to be the 5 to choose between. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Nick Eamon has climbed up a bit now. Schlesinger went from like minus 2,000, now he's minus 330. James Pierce is kind of in there too, but it seems like it's between Eamon Warrior or Schlesinger. And then Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel's now minus 105. Mike McDonald's plus 470. Liam Clone's plus 550. Ben Johnson's plus 550. Shanahan plus 650. I still think Vrabel's probably going to win it, but I will say with what Mike McDonald's has done now, I do think him or Liam Cohen would probably be too good off to me. Shit, Ben Johnson wouldn't be a horrible one either, but I feel like it's probably going to go to Mike Vrabel just because of his record compared to the other guys, and they don't have as many. I mean, I genuinely don't think the Patriots really have any big games left. I mean, you got a game against... I'm sorry, they have one game. Ravens, Jets, Dolphins. So that's kind of a big one against the Ravens, where they're 3-point dogs in Baltimore. I might be taking that hint for tomorrow, but yeah, Jets and Dolphins, those are winnable games, especially because the Dolphins are coming to New England in January. But yeah, we'll see, man. Never can know with these awards. All it takes is one weird thing happening for somebody, and the public just flips on them completely. But that's going to do it for the NFL portion. College-wise, I guess we're pretty much just going to go through college football playoffs. I guess we'll break that down a little bit more tomorrow, honestly. Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. Because I just realized, like, all we're going to have is really NFL to talk about, and then we'll focus on college football playoffs tomorrow. We'll focus a little bit more on bowl games today, just because I'll admit, and of course now this wants to be difficult. We have some bowl games to go for. I kind of like Jacksonville State tonight against Troy, but I don't know who's sitting, who's not, so I'm going to stay away from that one. Wednesday, I do like Delaware against Louisiana. That would be one. Delaware is basically like one I'm probably going to end up taking, to be honest. South Florida, I lean them, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to take anything in that one. And then Thursday, Missouri State, Arkansas State, I got nothing there. Kennesaw State, Western Michigan on Friday. Alabama, Oklahoma is going to be a fun one. Memphis, North Carolina State. I don't know. I don't know why I said it like that either. And then, so yeah, that basically takes us to Monday. It would be Utah State, Washington State. Kind of lean Utah State there, but college football playoffs, like I said, I'll break all those games down tomorrow along with the rest of NFL. I think the only for sure bet I have is Delaware for these bowl games. I kind of lean USF, kind of like Jacksonville State. Past that, really don't like the rest of any of these. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. Really do appreciate it. Crazy to think that we're basically not going to be talking much college football at all to end really the season. I mean, I won't lie to you. I don't want to go into that Sharon Moore situation and everything. That's just truly, really sad. Going to wait to hear about more from it to see what happens. Michigan is now open. I mean, that's a boy, oh boy, was that a wild situation. But we'll just have to see what comes of it and the fallout from all the shit that happened. Crazy weekend in sports. We're going to be heading back into this feed tomorrow for, guess what? Pickem Thursdays on a Wednesday. NFL bets for Week 15. My college leans, breakdowns, and everything for the bowl games. Or, excuse me, not the bowl games. The college football playoff games. We did the bowl games today. Jeez. So, yeah, college football playoff games tomorrow. NFL Week 15. We got Pickem. Should be a fun one. I'll see everyone back in this feed tomorrow.